Hello and welcome. I'm Michael Santucci, founder and president of Sensophonics Hearing Wellness and co-inventor of the ASI Audio 3D ME in-ear monitor system. I'm here with international DJ, producer, and drummer DJ SPINSCOTT. SPINSCOTT, say hello to everyone.
Hey everyone. Hey Michael, thanks for having me.
Sure. So SPINSCOTT, for those who aren't familiar with your DJ career and producing and drumming career, would you talk a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I've been into music my whole life, and primarily have been focused on drumming since I was about 4 or 5. Come from a family of musicians, and currently most of my music work is in DJing and traveling in most years, except for this year, unfortunately. But spending most of my time right now just primarily focused on production and getting things ready to go back out and do live shows.
Yeah, like everybody else. You've been releasing some new music recently, so tell us a little bit about your process and the gear you've been using.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I'm actually in the process right now of expanding out into different genres. I focused a lot on jungle, drum and bass, which is my favorite, but I'm getting into some other things as well, and that's kind of influenced me to start using some different new gear. Currently, I'm still using, actually it's on the screen, this very old Mad Tracker program that you can see here for sequencing, but I do a lot of the live and real-time drumming production stuff on the MPC. I also use the Pioneer DJS 1000 quite a bit now, and then vinyl turntables, and just starting to get more deep into Ableton production software. So kind of combining a lot of different things right now from a production standpoint.
I see. So how does the 3D ME fit into that?
So 3D ME it's multifaceted. It's primarily, for me, it's a live performance tool, but I've found some interesting ways to use it in other areas. So, I mean, traditionally at shows, I was just stuffing the 3M foam into my ear, which is, not really great. You end up pulling it out halfway through the set anyway, because you just, the volume creep in the booth and all of that.
Sure.
But, 3D ME, I'm mostly using it for shows when I play out or even streams, because we talk about some of the features, in a little bit, but that's the primary usage. But something interesting in the studio here that I found is, when you're mixing down and pre-mastering and mastering, I want to make sure, like any other producer, that the track is going to sound great on every type of system. And so, of course, it sounds pretty flat on the monitors here, but using the 3D ME, I use the Ambient hear through the microphones on the outside to be able to hear what the room sounds like with the music playing through the speakers. And then I can also have a different track, so I can actually simulate as though I'm in a live DJ mix with it real time. Then I can take it into the other room and try it out on the PA system. So it's really kind of helping as kind of one of the last mile steps in the mix down process for me.
Yeah, it seems a little unique, but I always see, and as everybody does, headphones have always been like the go-to tool for DJs, right? But now with this 3D ME, it's not a headphone, it goes in your ear, but what advantages does it give you over traditional headphones?
The 3D ME, well, first of all, initially the idea of putting earbuds into my ear to DJ was a bit foreign to me, just from using headphones for so many years. But what I was finding is that at my gigs, and I've talked to a lot of DJs about this in the green room, and before, after shows, about how it's kind of a struggle between, you want to hear the impact and the volume of the music during the set, but at the same time, you want to protect your hearing. That's not always top of mind for everyone. From my drumming history and even early on DJing, after sets, just having my ears muffled, and I was younger at the time, I wasn't using anything, and then I started using the foam, and then I'm using the headphones. But as you know, you've got the headphone over one ear for monitoring, and then you've got the other ear exposed, and you've got your PA monitor right here in the booth, and every DJ before you continue to crank up the volume a little bit. And so it's just, you leave with unbalanced hearing in your ears at the end of the show, and it's not always easy to get to sleep in the hotel room, with that going on.
Yeah, but, not to say what happens to your hearing over time, on a permanent basis.
Yeah, long term. So with the 3D ME, I'm able to get the hearing protection during the full set, but I'm not sacrificing the volume of the show and being able to hear the details because I can adjust all of that in the app. So that's what makes it really cool.
Well, let's talk about that then. How does the 3D app help you control your ear EQ, volume, limiter setting? And do you see these as assets for hearing protection and just being able to perform in live settings for DJs?
Yeah, so the app that's the differentiator for this. I mean, with headphones, you plug them into the mixer as a DJ. We've all done that a billion times. And you've got a volume control on that, and then you've got your booth volume control. So you can control the volume of what's going into your ear and what's coming out of the monitor, but you typically don't have control over EQ. So depending on the room in the booth, or if you're at an underground party or rave or something, it may not even be a booth. It may just be a corner on top of the table and whatever. You really don't have control. And so the best thing for a DJ is to be able to get very comfortable with the room and with the sound up front. That way you can just fully focus on performing, focus on mixing, focus on crowd reaction. For me, I do a lot of real-time drumming and finger drumming and things like that during my set. So the sooner I can get comfortable with the room, the more I can just go off into my flow and I'm not thinking about tweaking headphone volumes and things. So the app enables me to hear the room sound and cut the bass out of it, maybe tweak the mid-range a little bit, roll off the treble, whatever I need to do, because for me, I tend to mix listening to more of the higher range. And I don't need all the bass necessarily going into my headphone or coming out of the monitor. I'd rather have more of the precise hi-hats that I can hear and mix and play along with. And so I just haven't been able, I've gotten very good at using headphones and monitors and I can do it, but it's been something special to be able to have extra control over that. And it's really, once you set it, it's kind of hands off for me. So I just adjust the app right before my set, before the next DJ goes off, and I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, I think the ambient mics on the earpieces are real game changers for the DJ industry because you don't have to take one off. You can actually listen in both sides to the ambient if you feel like it. But, not only live performance, but there's also live streaming. And I know a lot of people are doing this during COVID, unfortunately. Have you had anything going on with live streaming for yourself?
Yeah, I have. I've done, at first I didn't. I was thinking, okay, I don't want to kind of spill the candy in the lobby and start doing live streams every day. That will, because when, the live scene comes back, I didn't, I want to kind of keep the demand up. But at the same time, as every musician and DJ on here knows, you just get that urge to play in front of people. And if I can't do it live, I'm going to jump on the stream. And so I've done a few. I did one for the National Health Service out of the UK, and I've done a couple for the agency that I work with, and a couple of other sets that I've done. And I've done them in different rooms, and you have a little bit more control because you're in a home studio environment or an offsite studio environment. But still, again, having that flexibility, I can just keep the volume on everything down and adjust it from a quality and EQ standpoint with 3DME. So I've actually been using it more and more extremes as well.
Yeah, as an audiologist, it's heartening for me to hear you using this safely because DJs are it's such high risk, at least what I see in my practice. Do you have anything else you want to share that you've discovered about 3D IEMs?
Yeah, the fact that I never thought I would actually use an active in-ear monitor, honestly, because of the price point. I mean, I buy what I need for the specific application I need, and I did move up to custom earplugs, which was a game changer for me. And I thought, okay, this is great. I no longer really had to choose between being able to hear and hurt my ears and have it muffled after the show, but then being able to introduce the music back in with the 3DME in-ears. I think it's at a price point that it's accessible to a lot more people that can use it. I gotta say, we focused a lot on the DJing aspect of this, but for playing drums especially, and admittedly I sing a lot of the cover songs for the band projects I work in. Singing while playing the drums and being able to hear and adjust the ambient and also hear your mix and hear your drums at the same time, it's a rarity in most setups. And so I'm really enjoying that aspect, even if it's a socially distanced garage practice where everyone's 10 feet away and doing that. It's made all of that possible. So even during the practice, a lot of people aren't playing out, but you have the opportunity to practice at home or practice in a well-spaced area. Really strange acoustics in some of these scenarios. It's really worked well. Only other thing, I'm really excited. ASI Audio tapped me to provide some guidance and insight into the development of the app and the product here early on. And I was still using.
By the way, thank you. We're grateful for your contributions.
Sure, and I think that, and you're welcome. And I think that what was really important to me is I wanted a product that was really going to change the game for me in terms of DJing, but that also when I'm in the back room or I'm talking to other DJs and performers, I can say, look, this was designed and there was input from people like you that understand the challenges associated with certain audio environments and, hurting your ears and hearing better and everything like that. So it's been a good opportunity and definitely excited where things are going.
Well, thanks so much for your time today, SPINSCOTT. And hey, tell us where we can hear some of your latest music and follow you for the future.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so you can find some of my earlier releases on the typical download sites. You can go to beatport.juno.co.uk. I also have my own Bandcamp site, which I launched last year, which I think is about 15 or 16 different tracks on there, a couple of different genres. And then, of course, the main thing is my YouTube channel with all of my 100% certified organic, loop-free, sequence-free, and quantized-free beats on the sampler.
Sounds great, Scott. Thanks again.
Great. Thank you, Michael.